Coming up on NCC News, Destiny USA is looking to boost the Syracuse economy by building a hotel.
And Maddie is live with reactions from the SU versus Pitt game.
Why this may be the warmest winter yet.
And the latest on the presidential race.
Good afternoon, I'm Madison Carter.
And I'm Paola, Suro. Let's get right to our top story. Syracuse basketball played in its first game of the postseason. The SU men's basketball team traveled down to Washington, D.C. to play against Pitt. Maddie is on Marshall Street with fan reactions from the game. Maddie?
Well, today was certainly a good day for the weather, but unfortunately not for the Syracuse Orangemen. I'm outside Varsity Pizza where earlier today fans were among good friends and good food, but left empty-handed when the Syracuse Orangemen were defeated by the Pittsburgh Panthers in a close finish of 71-72. Varsity fans were nothing but hopeful when the Orange were only 1 point behind with 6 seconds left in the game, but were ultimately left disappointed at the final buzzer and the chance the Orange may not make it to the NCAA tournament.
I really don't see us going too far. We need to be a more well-rounded team, and frankly, we don't have what it takes to go too far anyway, so I'm very disappointed at the moment.
And coming up later, Kevin Case will have full reactions from the players along with Jim Boeheim. Stay tuned.
Thank you so much, Maddie. Now we have the other Maddie here with us in the studio to give us an update on the most recent hotel proposal from Destiny USA.
Thank you, Paola. Yes, this is the second hotel proposal from Destiny USA in the past few years. This new plan calls for fewer rooms and a smaller tax exemption, but has still been met by some opposition. If approved, construction on the hotel will begin in May or June, be completed by summer 2017. The new Destiny USA hotel proposal includes over 200 rooms for the Syracuse community.
The more rooms we have here, the more people we have staying in these rooms, the more the money stays with the local economy.
And the proposal promises to fill at least 50% of the permanent jobs created by the hotel with Syracuse residents.
We live in this community, have a 30-year track record of investing in downtown and principally the lakefront area with Franklin Square, Carousel, and Destiny, and have, we believe, a solid track record of hiring locally.
Additionally, the hotel could attract more tourists, bringing more events and providing the ideal stopping place for road trippers heading up to Canada or Niagara Falls.
They're looking for a place to stay, and they're like, oh, let's stop by Destiny USA. You have a mall right there, you have a hotel. It answers all of their questions and all their needs.
Though a new hotel could benefit Syracuse, Mayor Stephanie Miner says the proposal is another failed economic strategy that enriches developers and leaves the rest of our community behind. Mayor Miner said the hotel has already received over $700 million in tax breaks and does not support Destiny USA's new proposal. Community members are also doubtful of this new plan.
I feel like I've heard this before, no hotel was ever built. We'll see what happens.
Destiny USA does not need Mayor Miner or the community's approval to proceed. For NCC News, I'm Maddie Stessman. Well, this proposed hotel would go up on the southeast corner of Hiawatha Boulevard and Solar Streets.
Well, I'm very interested to see if this plan actually goes through this time. Thank you so much, Maddie.
6 charges were dismissed today against the father of the 2 teens beaten in the Word of Life Church. One of his sons died from the injuries he sustained, and the other was severely injured. All of the kidnapping charges and one of the murder charges were dropped in court today against Bruce Leonard. Leonard still faces 7 charges, including second-degree murder and manslaughter.
And new this morning, Cayuga County Police say they have identified the couple found dead from an apparent murder-suicide. Deputies say they found the bodies of 74-year-old Diana Laporta and 81-year-old Vincent Laporta yesterday afternoon at their home in the town of Ledyard. Authorities say it appears they died of gunshot wounds. The investigation is ongoing, but detectives say they believe no one else was involved. And a first-year Cornell University student is charged with first-degree rape. Cornell University police say they have arrested 19-year-old Xavier Eaglin, who is part of the school's basketball team. Eaglin is also accused of choking the victim. According to the Cornell Daily Sun newspaper, Eaglin is currently behind bars at the Tompkins County Jail. He is due in court this Friday. And the fight against the heroin epidemic in central New York continues. Congressman John Katko hosted an open meeting last night where he discussed ways to eliminate this problem. Many people were in attendance, including community advocates and healthcare professionals. Concerned parents were also present and discussed how this issue hits them close to home.
There's been in prisons, jails, rehabs, detox, treatment centers. You name it, my daughter's done it.
Now, Katko discussed the need for more education in schools and for better laws to punish drug dealers.
Just a user and a low-level criminal, and your criminal conduct is fueled by drug use, maybe they should go to drug court. But the professional dealers, I don't think there's crime stiff enough for them.
Testing of the drinking water in Ithaca City schools continues today amongst the calls for the superintendent to resign. The school district is coming under heat for concerns over the high levels of lead in the water. The water has not been tested since 2005, but even then, results showed some schools with lead levels exceeding the threshold. There were questions about whether anything was done when the initial report surfaced, and this has many parents demanding change now.
The level of negligence is so high, and the harm that could be done for 11 years to these students rises to the level of do you start over and do something else? And I think in this case, you do.
A new health initiative is trying to gain traction in New York. The American Cancer Society announced that they plan to get 80% of people over the age of 50 to get their colon screenings by 2018. The National Cancer Institute says colon cancer is the second leading cause of cancer deaths amongst men and women. Onondaga County Health Department is now offering an in-home test for free, leaving people with little reason to not get screened.
Having no insurance is no reason, no excuse not to have the test.
Now, if you love doing snow angels, building snowmen, or just love the cold, this winter may have let you down. The United States just experienced its warmest winter on record. According to federal meteorologists, the average temperature from December through February was almost 5 degrees above normal temperatures. They say this is thanks to a combination of El Niño and man-made global warming. This winter was a record breaker to the warm winter of 1999 to 2000. And with that, we take it to our very own meteorologist, Hearns Laguerre Jr. Hearns, I'm so jealous you're out there right now in the sun. Tell us, how beautiful is it out there today?
Paola, it is absolutely beautiful outside. I hope you had a chance to go outside and look up because you may have forgotten what the sun looked like. For the past couple of months, we've had a harsh winter, but we are blessed to have a sunny and breezy day today. We are currently sitting at a cloudy degree. The weather's currently cloudy right now, but let's take a look at the almanac. The record high for today was around like 78 degrees in 2000 with a low of -6 in 1943. Now, normally around this time, we're at 40 degrees with a low of 22, but we are way above that around this time. Right now, we are sitting at 73 degrees. We may break the record high of 78 degrees today, but it's a little too close to tell. I'll have my live weather forecast at 4:45 for you guys. Back to you guys in the studio.
Thanks, Hearns. Up ahead, we take a look at the most recent activity in the presidential race.
And we will tell you which rock star is no longer with us.
And we check out the new art exhibit at Archer's Gallery.
It was a successful night for presidential Democratic candidate Bernie Sanders during the Michigan primary. As results came in Tuesday night, Sanders quickly took the lead and had an unexpected victory over Democratic frontrunner Hillary Clinton. Michigan is the largest state Sanders has won so far.
Last week we have won 3 caucuses, and 2 of them were record-breaking turnouts. This has been a fantastic night in Michigan.
Sanders already looking ahead to Super Tuesday.
Now, while this victory is a huge boost for Sanders' campaign, Clinton ended the day with more delegates after winning 83% of the vote in Tuesday's Mississippi primary. The final results from last night's primaries are in, and the GOP frontrunner Donald Trump came up big again. Trump took home wins in 3 of the 4 states, only dropping Idaho to Senator Ted Cruz. He proved once again that whatever is thrown at him, his supporters stick with. He is well on his way to snagging the Republican nomination on the first ballot as he calls on fellow running mate Marco Rubio to drop out of the race.
I would love to take on Ted one-on-one.
And President Obama has begun the interview process for the Supreme Court vacancy in light of Justice Scalia's death. According to sources close to the process, the 3 leading contenders include Chief Judge Merrick Garland, Judge Sri Srinivasan, and Judge Paul Watford. These 3 are among a group of at least 2 known others vying for the spot. And a gas leak investigation led to a massive explosion in a Seattle neighborhood earlier this morning. According to Seattle Fire spokeswoman, 9 firefighters were immediately taken to the hospital for minor injuries. The blast destroyed at least 1 building and shattered windows as far as 2 blocks away. According to authorities, there is no indication that any residents nearby had been injured. Crews were also on site to stop the gas leak. In an interstate manhunt ended early this morning near New Florence, Missouri. Police arrested Pablo Antonio Serrano Vitorino with 4 counts of first-degree murder after shooting in Kansas City on Tuesday. According to U.S. immigration officials, Serrano Vitorino was deported to Mexico in 2004 and re-entered into the U.S. illegally. The charges he will face are expected to reach beyond the local community due to him being an undocumented immigrant.
Tensions with North Korea remain high. North Korea has allegedly miniaturized nuclear warheads to fit onto the top of missiles. This claim comes after reports of North Korea successfully testing an apparent hydrogen bomb in February. However, proliferation experts believe the test did not include a hydrogen bomb, and there are no direct sites of provocation. A top ISIS leader may have been killed in a U.S. airstrike. The targeted leader has a reputation as one of ISIS's most capable commanders and oversees military operations in northern Syria. According to the U.S. officials, the strike took place Friday in a town bordering Syria. The confirmation of his death is still under investigation, and the U.S. military and intelligence community is keeping quiet. An American was stabbed to death in Tel Aviv yesterday. Former Army officer Taylor Ford was part of a university tourist group that was randomly attacked in the stabbing rampage where he was killed. Another person died and 10 others were injured. Forrest graduated from West Point and was a military officer until 2014. He was in his first year of graduate school at Vanderbilt. Crowds gathered across Asia to witness the stellar view of a total solar eclipse today. Those in Indonesia had the best view. However, people in Thailand, Malaysia, Singapore, Hawaii, and Australia were able to partially see the eclipse as well. The next solar eclipse that will be visible in the U.S. is supposed to come August 21st, 2017.
When I find myself in times of trouble, Mother Mary comes to me, speaking words of wisdom, let it be.
The music world mourns the loss of another legend today. Sir George Martin, or as some like to call him, the fifth Beatle, died peacefully in his home at the age of 90. The producer's career spanned 7 decades. He signed the Beatles to their first contract and was influential in creating countless careers, including Celine Dion. When we come back, find out how the newest exhibit at Artridge tackles race.
We take a look at Syracuse-Pitt basketball game that went down to the wire.
And watch how dangerous reporting can actually be.
Yeah. Mic check 1 2 1 2. Mic. Okay. Cool.
Ooh, my head hurts. The camera almost ran me over.
Yeah, you were like, you did good though.
The Art Rage Gallery in downtown Syracuse is displaying a new exhibit.
And NCC's Hearns Laguerre Jr. is here right now. He's going to shed some light on the history of racist memorabilia. Please tell us.
Thanks, guys. Yesterday, I had a chance to take a look at a variety of racist artifacts at the Art Rage Gallery. These items depict a time when blackface was acceptable in everyday culture. I must warn you that some of the images we will show you may be too scary for some children. The Art Rage Gallery has a new exhibit entitled Blackout, Through the Veiled Eyes of Others. The exhibit is being displayed to show America's gruesome history through horrifying images.
Some of the objects are exactly that, horrifying, and other of the objects are just so familiar that you almost don't think they're so horrible because you're so used to them. And that is the poison. That is what makes it insidious. That is what supports institutional racism.
Well, I'm on the board at Art Rage, here at Art Rage, and I knew that this was going to be one of our exhibits this year, and this is the first time seeing it. You know, so looking at this now and then looking back in hindsight, you know, it's a reminder of how commonplace racism, or at least overt racism, you know, was.
Bill Berry Jr. created the exhibit to raise awareness of America's history and to show its influence in modern times. Berry hopes the exhibit will continue the discussion on claiming your own identity.
And that's what everyone needs to understand on both sides of the race issue, where it came from, how to deal with it.
It's important for us to look for somebody in my generation to see these images and to recall that some of them are very familiar. They're things I saw when I was young.
Bill Berry will be at the Art Rage Gallery tomorrow to talk about the exhibit and how he started the collection. The event will be from 7 to 9 p.m. and the exhibit will be available until March 19th.
And coming up, we give you a live look at sports.
We'll tell you what to expect on the 445 show.
And see how reflexes of one reporter saved his life.
Seven? Yeah. Okay.
The Syracuse basketball loss is not even 2 hours old. Cuse falling to Pitt by just 1 point. The Syracuse basketball loss is not even 2 hours old. Cuse falling to Pitt by just 1 point. Let's send it to Kevin Case in D.C. for the post-game reaction from Boeheim and his team. Kevin?
Thanks, Danielle. Here outside Verizon Center now, and there were two things really being talked about post-game. One, that final play. The ball was actually not supposed to go to Trevor Cooney. The play was for Mike Benajay, but he was doubled on that final play, so the ball went to Cooney. Didn't work out. Second thing, obviously, everyone wants to know, does Syracuse think it belongs in the NCAA tournament? No real straight answers from the players or the coaches. They'll just have to wait and see, and so will the rest of us. Thanks. Back to you guys in the studio.
Thanks, Kevin. Coming up at 4:45, I'll preview what's next in the ACC tournament. And the NFL free agency just opened officially about 20 minutes ago. We'll take a look at what NFL teams are doing. But first, let's look at some local sports. With spring weather this week, many teams are practicing outside, including softball. I talked to former SU player Morgan Nandan about her experiences here and what she's doing now.
My dad played professional baseball and my brother played professional baseball, so it's we kind of breed baseball players in our family, so just started right when I was ever could pick up a ball.
Morgan Nandan started playing softball when she was 5 years old and never looked back. 4 years at SU, and she's one of only 5 Orange to start every single game of her career. She holds the records for the most games played and started, the most career assists, and the most double plays turned. But her favorite memory? Helping the team win its first Big East title her freshman year.
Kind of a surreal experience, like we all just felt that we were going to win on the bus, but nobody said anything. It was really cool, just being that six seed and then winning the whole thing.
And she's still on the field, but this time as a coach. Nandan helped coach the SU team for 2 years. Now she's the assistant coach at Oswego State.
And it's the next best thing of playing it. It's just, I can't see myself never not being around the field.
But that's not all. Nandan also plays on the Colombian national softball team.
I can't really speak Spanish, so when I'm on the field, it's just a universal language. Like we know, like just by signals and just random words, what we mean or like where the play is going to be, and it's just like that universal love for the game that we're able to communicate on the field.
And for the future, Nandan says she just hopes to be on the field as long as possible.
Hoping to stay on the roster as long as I can, even if I'm like 40.
Now, softball was removed from the Olympics in 2012, but softball and baseball are among 6 sports recommended to be in the 2020 games. Nandan says playing in the Olympics has been a dream of hers, and she hopes she's still on the Colombian team if it's added again.
Thanks, Danielle. When we come back, you'll get to see one reporter's incredibly close call.
And you will get a snapshot of what is happening on our 4:45 show. Stay with us.
Coming up at 4:45, we spoke.
A minute to run through the T's, and then the close call.
A minute is more than enough.
Yeah.
We have 4 lines.
So
I'm going to throw a little bit
just
like...
remember that Suro is a
Welcome back. Now, Max Block, what should we expect on the 445 show?
Coming up at 4:45, we spoke to a Syracuse fire marshal on how to detect potential gas leaks in your home. Louise Chenard followed up with a Syracuse minimum wage challenge participant, and we'll have all the latest on the presidential primaries. Expect all that and more coming up at 4:45.
Thanks, Max. Okay, so Paola, normally we don't think of reporting as a dangerous job, but that's not always the case.
Yeah, after watching this video clip, I'm considering switching professions. Check it out.
It's a chaotic and confusing situation for
Alex Savage from California. He has his cameraman to thank him for telling him to jump out of the way. Can you believe that, Madison?
That is crazy. I'll tell you right now, I do not have reflexes like that. Everyone has a moment where they see their life flash before their eyes, and I can only imagine what he was feeling.
I know, and we graduated in May, so it's right around the corner.
Right around the corner. We're going to head out there to that dangerous world, huh?
No. Well, that's all we have for you at 4 p.m., but stay tuned for the 445. I'm Paola Suro.
And I'm Madison Carter. Have a great night.